Musa.
What's good, my brother? What's good? What's good? What's good, bro? Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here, and long time coming. Let's talk.
Yes, for real. Because like I've been keeping up with you since I want to say, because before we started this interview, we were talking earlier as far as with my history as far as keeping up with artists. I used to do my thing in Japan when it came to journalism, and I always wanted to keep up with artists. Not just the mainstream, but other people that really put their all into the music, but then at the same time, they're starting out on their journey. And I've definitely wanted to get yours. So once again, I appreciate you coming in.
For sure, man. Thanks for having me.
So you've been doing a lot of work since I've been keeping up with you since 2018, but your story starts before that, so we'll start from the beginning.
Okay.
You're from Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Yes.
But you're from one of those places where if you say it, no one knows where it's at. Because there's also another area, Cameron?
Yeah,
actually?
Cameron, Louisiana, which is literally a small town on the edge of Louisiana, off the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, and also another city that's not too far from there, which is like near hip hop legendary status, is Port Arthur, Texas, which is where UGK is from.
Yep, and that is not far. Not far from. You just cross the state line, and literally you'll run into it rather soon.
So growing up there, especially when it comes to getting into music, what was it like growing up for you in Lake Charles?
Well, grew up in Cameron. My first half of my life, we was in Cameron, and then once Hurricane Rita, which hit in 2005, once that happened, that's what split my childhood. But growing up in Cameron, just super country, man. Super cultural, sports culture, black Southern culture, just that on all fronts, and also religion culture. Coming up singing in the choir, just everything you can want as far as just like being in the area and feeling safe. Cameron definitely provided those things for sure.
And that's the thing, because you just mentioned Hurricane Rita, because I remember I was in Florida at that time. That's not too long around the time of Katrina at that point.
Mm-hmm. The next month.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Because I remember there was like consecutive hurricanes like left and right. It was crazy. In Florida, It was just a lot of wind and rain, but definitely, of course, with Katrina, how that affected, everyone evacuating and of course, with all the mess that was going on with that. How were you and your family able to deal with that at the time? Did y'all have to leave or move or anything like that?
Oh, a lot of moving. We come up evacuating a lot, but also being able to be blessed enough to like return back to your home without like hurricanes and stuff hitting your home. So in that time, it was just like, it felt like a routine thing, like, okay, it'll pass and we'll be good. So once it actually happened, man, it just was literally nowhere to go. Sleeping in high school gyms, sleeping in cars, sleeping in churches that would have you. So just not knowing where you're gonna lay your head. Sometimes you go into certain towns because FEMA is there to give you like checks and stuff like that. So it just was extremely nomadic, but attached to like trauma to some experience, because you just know that you lost everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, as a kid, you just trying to take it in and try to understand it as much as you can at that age.
Yeah, and it also kind of depends on how your parents take it. So once you see how they handle it, you kind of fall in.
Yeah, you're looking at adults, you kind of looking like, okay, I guess we okay. They look kind of bothered, but I mean, we still going to McDonald's or going, do stuff. To some extent, we just doing it in other people's towns.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because then after of course the hurricanes passed, and then of course you have to worry about the aftermath and the cleanup, and even after it's all gone, there's still like, of course, effects to it. But then as far as when daily life as a kid, because you talk about Rita, that was in September of 2000. Yeah, September, right?
Yeah, 2005.
Yeah.
2005.
So that you talking about the beginning of the school year, did that affect anything as far as going to school or anything like that?
Yep. We was out of school for months.
Yeah.
Almost half of the year. So just completely just staying at hotels and not going to school while everybody else going to school, which is kind of cool. But I guess like it's when you had the experience of just going to school. Like I was playing football, so I was kind of annoyed because football is happening and I ain't able to play. And back then, like my dream was to go to the NFL. So it just was like coaches was recruit me from other schools. I'm trying to force my parents to put me into other schools or whatever, and it didn't happen. So we just had to wait it out until we got the news that we was going back to school. And then, we moved to Lake Charles, stayed in like hotels for a certain amount of time, and then we stayed in like a camper for like maybe a year or two. And just was being bused to the school, but it was like school in like trailers. It wasn't like they placed some trailers in like in an open field type of vibe, and we went to school like that.
I know what you're talking about, yeah, because it's like a temporary thing. Like they have portables. I know, like my high school was kind of like that, but we were like, when are they gonna get rid of these? But
Right.
we got more people coming in and everything. But you just mentioned it as far as you being a football player back in that time, like. You mentioned trying to have dreams to go to the NFL. Any like coaches that tried to like first off, what position did you play?
Receiver, and I played corner.
You know what? Because especially if you're a receiver, they definitely go. I mean, any position they're gonna be looking for, spots as far as playing college. Was that so? Definitely that was.
Yeah, receiver first. I was gonna do receiver first. That's at that time. That's all I thought about was football. Everything I done as far as like staying in shape. Just even outside of football, like I played other sports, but a lot of those sports I played just to stay in shape for football. That was always the main goal. I actually wish I would have branched into more basketball because of the way that my body type. Eventually, I ain't put on much weight, you know what I'm saying? So I probably could have been a better guard. I already had the quickness, but I didn't take basketball as serious, so I literally didn't even play like my last year.
Bro, you would have been good as a shooting guard. I could see you at the two.
For sure. I be watching these guys. I'm like, I couldn't imagine like putting all of the time that I put into football because I already had the athleticism.
Yeah.
It's just like the school culture wasn't like around it. Like they wasn't that great at basketball, and it wasn't like the school didn't support the basketball program like that. So as a kid, you just take it as just like you don't want to mess with it as much. Even though I did play, but I just didn't take it serious enough.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, I mean, you got LSU that's down there. And,
Yeah.
I remember there was. When I was playing in my college days, there was a couple of Louisiana schools that were recruiting. But yeah, you don't really think of Louisiana as a
basketball state. It's not straight football.
It's straight football.
Straight football.
During that time, and you kind of just alluded to it earlier. Of course, you grew up in the church too.
For sure, heavy church.
Yeah, that's like a staple.
Any part of my music where you hear me trying to sing today is because of back then in those days.
Wait, hold on. So you still sing? I thought you.
Well, I'm like for example in my music, if I'm doing like bridges and stuff like that, a lot of that comes from me like just being in church, trying to just mimic certain things or thinking that I can hear certain things. I think some of that helps me.
Because because it was a past interview that I watched. It was several years back, as far as talking about you transitioning from, being in the church choir singing, and then going into actually rapping. But like, was it one of those things that you wanted to do yourself, or were you influenced by your mom or your dad or anything like that?
As far as the transition?
Yeah, or just wanting to sing in general. I'm sorry.
No, probably like you as a kid, you had to sing back then. You had to do there was a certain time you just didn't have a choice. Like you're going to church, and when you get there, you're going to participate in something. So figure out what you want to do. You want to be the usher. You want to be in the choir. Figure it out. And I don't think I wanted to do it as a kid, but I'm happy I did it because I think that it kind of like laid like a somewhat of a blueprint, like within my music DNA of just at least playing with your voice. You know what I'm saying? We were singing every Sunday, so I would think definitely that they helped me.
Definitely one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things. You go Sunday morning, Sunday evening. You might do that Wednesday evening Bible study. You might be singing there.
It was short lived though. By the time I got the rap, I wasn't like singing no more.
So by that time, how old were you?
By the time I got in the rap, I didn't get into rap until my 20s. So I stopped singing in church like that in my teenage years. So there wasn't like a smooth transition like that. The rap was nowhere in my mind until like in my 20s when I started playing with music. We had like a friend of mine had like a karaoke machine. They would like be recording us over beats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And literally, it takes anything, bro. Like somebody literally just complimented me on one bar, and I started like planting the seed of what it would look like if I was a musician. But it was like months of just like trying to like put myself in that frame. Cause I think I enjoyed just the thought of like somebody saluting you for your intellect and it being over music. And it's like, well, how could I always be saluted for my intellect? It's just like, I ain't gonna become like an orator or something like that. Like I might have to dabble in this music thing or whatever, this hip hop thing, but I ain't tell nobody for months.
Sure. Yeah, because
sure.
like once you got older, as you just mentioned, you started rapping in your 20s because you went to Northwestern State University. Was that around that time that you went ahead and said, I'm going to go ahead and do this as far as rap?
So at Northwestern, I would only, we would be like rapping on beats when I would come home for the summer, but I didn't take it. It wasn't serious. It was probably, so I might have started rapping probably like seriously, probably like 21. So, but during those times when I would come home from college and we would be doing all that rapping, I think that it was slowly like, it was kind of pointing me into a direction before I even knew it. So the more and more that we did it, and then we started recording each other, and I think the recording aspect of it like just added like another element of how I thought about myself in that space. And probably like, shortly after that, I'm like, nah, I'm a rapper, or something like that. So I'm like looking in the mirror, like trying to like put myself in the rapper frame a lot. It was corny, but it was hilarious.
But was it someone that actually got you inspired to rap? Was it a certain occurrence? Was it a certain experience in your childhood, or was it someone like a friend or a family member that was influential? How did you get into it overall?
Literally, I think probably like listening to, because when I started flirting with the idea of becoming a rapper, I was listening to like Nas, Pac, and Jay. And also I would go to like battle raps in person. So I think like stuff like that probably was kind of like helping push me into that direction, I'll say. Definitely like listening to like the greats though.
Most definitely. And you mentioned Nas, and even Jay-Z kind of touches on it a little bit too, because they have a love of African culture. But you also got a love of African culture.
For sure.
And
Definitely.
so when it comes to, as far as African culture and hip hop, and then how it relates to African American culture, us Black Americans, you talk about what's going on in the country in terms of inspiration with your music. Because, you said that, of course, with everything that happened with Trayvon Martin and then, police brutality and everything like that. And then you even said that you read the Malcolm X autobiography. Did that come into play?
Definitely. My favorite book, to be honest. I'm a huge Malcolm X fan. As far as the African culture, I'm just infatuated with just like the community aspect of building with them over there. Like I have friends from that side, so, and also history just showing like some of our ancestors that's come from so many different places. It just shows, the community aspect on it, and how we would be better together as opposed to apart. So that's literally what it's birthed in, just camaraderie with people who look like you. I'm trying to bring this Black excellence, bring it global. That's the reason why, for the most part, I be even collaborating with them, besides them being like great people and building with them for months, but just like continuing just to push that agenda of like people in the underground or even the mainstream, like collaborating with our brothers and sisters on the other side, for real.
Yeah, because even, when it talks about, or when you talk about, your influences as far as Malcolm X, what's one of the main lessons that you learned from reading his work? Because he's misunderstood as being like dangerous, but it's like, but what's something that you learned from him or as far as overall from his work?
Besides Black pride, I think the intelligence is what's most appealing, because it's so like structured and racially mixed that it's not dangerous, but it's so acute and it's so sharp that it seems dangerous. That was the biggest thing that stood out to me, of even having like an affinity like that for like Malcolm X, like just like listening to his speeches. So stern of a voice, but so graceful of a looking person, like just the duality in the way he would speak. Like it might seem stern, but it always was like sprinkles of love in it, that it always came off as sincere. And yeah, the intellect just was off the charts, and also the boldness and not quieting like his spirit, no matter what space he was in. Like when he had these debates at these colleges, these all white colleges, it's just like that right there, like gave me like goosebumps when I first seen that. Seeing a black man like it, because I come up in a white town, and I wasn't always confident as a kid, like and that played with my self-confidence and to a great extent my self-esteem. So just seeing somebody do that, like, yeah, it definitely it infused me for sure.
Yeah, because he would sit down and talk with anybody when it came to social issues, civil rights, and everything like that. Because yeah, he talked to anybody.
For sure. Definitely talk to anybody.
Your moniker, rather, Jaylon Musa, the richest man to walk on earth, the richest man.
Mansa.
Why was that part of your name?
You know, it's funny. The name was inspired by him, but when I made the name, I wasn't as knowledgeable about Mansa Musa, but I always heard that. Always heard the name Mansa Musa. It literally was, when I was making the name, it was like I was trying to rush to a name, and I was spending like weeks trying to find the name. And I was like, all right, bro, you're done with the names. Either it's gonna be your name or you gonna let a name happen organically. So I had some of the nastiest names ever, like trying to get to this name or whatever. And I was like, just one day thinking probably like, yo, I want a name that's attached to like an ancestor that'll like make people curious about the said person or whatever. So that literally is what gave birth to putting the Musa on the back of it. It's just like black excellence, black power, in that way to where when people go look up this person, they'll see themselves, but they'll see themselves in a way that's inspirational to some aspects. So that was literally why I did that.
That's all I was about to say. Yeah, you would probably hope that, people look at the name, where Musa come from, what's the etymology to it,
right,
the history behind it, and everything like that. And that's actually a good point too, because you bring it up, you see the name, there is going to be a certain level of curiosity that comes with it.
Right, which is why you asking me now, and now I'm able to continue to tell people about Mansa Musa.
Yeah, you won't know the story unless you don't ask no questions.
For sure.
Now let's get into the music.
Let's do it.
You got as far as, the church upbringing, there is a heavy influence of gospel in your music, especially starting off with the Birth EP. And I listened to it, and it reminded me of how Kanye would have all his gospel influences or his gospel samples in his music from the beginning. Even like when he was producing for Rockefeller, for Beanie Siegel, for the early days with Jay-Z and everything like that. But I feel like it had like a lo-fi feel to it. What went into your mental process as far as the sound for the Birth EP?
I think back then it was just the kind of music that I enjoyed, like rapping on. We was just starting then, so definitely had our Kanye influences, but it was really like Jay, my favorite rapper. So a lot of the music, like Jay, Kanye, a lot of that East Coast Just Blaze, a lot of that is what I like to hear myself like rapping on back then for sure. Like, and it was straight. We trying to be lyrical. Hooks don't got to be extravagant. You can just say your hooks and get back to the bars. That was the mindset that we had back then. My friend Jermaine, who was my engineer, and he made beats. That was literally the plan. I actually flew home and recorded that in a weekend, and then flew back. That's how we did that one.
That's what I'm about to say. Wait, how long did it take overall? Just
2.5 days. I flew in Friday and we got it done over the weekend. I flew back Sunday.
Do you feel like, especially with that quick of a process, did you look back at it and feel like, because there's only 7 songs on the EP, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Did you feel like you could have added a few more for going through a process that quick?
Probably, but the music for the most part was already done in my mind. Okay. There were certain things that wasn't done that I was writing while I was on the plane, and I came up with maybe like a hook and like half a verse while I was actually there. But for the most part, when I show up, the music already ready to go. Come up in that time with studio time costing a certain amount, my verses is already learned for the most part. As far as my tonality, it's gonna be for the engineer, it's gonna be pretty consistent to where my voice not breaking or nothing like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
So I'm going down there. I'm already like I come up with him as well, Jermaine. So we'll come up in this world, my music world, like to where we had so much chemistry that we could get that done that quick. That wouldn't have been able to happen, I don't think, with just any engineer. He already knew kind of how I work. He know, and I knew how he worked as well.
Yeah, because I remember in another interview you mentioned, as far as with the birth EP, you were saying that getting ready for it, you kept in mind that you wanted to speak into the music. You wanted to talk godly.
For sure. Heavy God work back then.
Along with that, you were saying that also getting ready to put the project out, that you kept in mind that there's a difference between knowing God and feeling God. What do you mean by that?
Just even thinking about me back then, I was so heavy into like racial pride and black God that I think you can know and feel God. So if you know God, I mean, then you feel God. But I think back then it was really about the mindset of seeing yourself in the same image and just trying to spew that out, trying to scream that as loud as possible. When it came to my music, when it came to my vernacular, I'm fresh into this hip hop thing, and I'm on that type of time. Like, and also the with trying to influence people to see themselves as such. There's a lot going on during those times as well, you know what I'm saying, racially. So it really was just unity and just black confidence. It's really the type of time I was on back then. We was moving around a lot. I just got to Cali, was bouncing around in Airbnbs a lot, so wasn't really feeling grounded, you know what I'm saying, but definitely just black confidence, and you know.
Do you feel like your mentality has changed with that a little bit? You know, like has it changed in any way? Because what the birth EP came out in 2018.
Yeah.
The main single off the birth EP was "Forget About You."
Mm-hmm.
Now there was a video for it too.
Yeah.
Why was that the main song that stuck out for the project?
It was the main song that was getting the most plays. to be that simple, like that song is with the song that one of the songs that people would reference a lot, and also I love the song as well. I figured it would do that in some capacity with my listeners or whatever. So just that's literally it. Love the song, and then also the people followed as far as compared to my other songs. I'm like, we need to shoot this.
Before we get to the next project, 2018 was the birth EP. That's when it came out. But around the same time, or in that same time frame, that's when you were doing your thing with the BET Freestyle Friday. You were LA champion for 2018.
Yes, sir.
That point.
Very interesting time.
And you know that was interesting to watch because you had all these rappers that came from different countries. I remember seeing. You know, before the interview, I mentioned Daylyt jokingly with you, but
yeah.
he had a quick freestyle during that.
Yep, I remember.
And there was another rapper that was there. I forget, it's a female rapper because she did Queen of the Ring. I forgot her name. Dina Brass. She was part of it. But of course, with you a part of it, how did that come about?
I think I was scanning the internet and just seeing a promotion maybe on IG or something like that, and showed you what a sign up was. I was kind of, I was going through looking at the people. You had to submit like a freestyle a cappella to it, so I'm going through looking at the comments, and I'm like, I know I can. By this time, my pen is sharp, so I'm talking crazy in my head, like, oh, I'm cleaning up all these, like, on that type of shit. So it just was like, I clicked the link and just shot a video for it, submitted it, and then probably within like 4 days, BET, they emailed me back and was just like, hey, you know, you're one of the people that we chose to come and compete. And I was like, cool. So I was excited. I was excited about it, to be honest, because I ain't never, back then I was like, just from the transition, and I just moved to Cali like not long before that. So it felt like things was going into the right direction when that happened. I was willing to do anything at that point. When you a rapper early on, like, all right, I'll go battle. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, because, of course, you had the different rappers out there. And then, if I remember correctly, there was a final battle that you were a part of. I guess the winner of that battle was supposed to be an opening act for Nipsey Hussle at that point, or something like that.
I didn't hear that part, but it's possible. I don't know what they had on TV. I don't know what they had on TV, to be honest.
Yeah, because
it's possible.
Because I know it was something. We're gonna get real a little bit.
Yep.
I watched the battle with you and Young Stitch about 7, 8 times. And I watch a lot of URL, King of the Dot, Don't Flop, all the battle rap leagues and everything like that. I love battle rap. I've been watching it for the past 15, 16 years and everything when it comes to how the rounds are crafted and everything. And then, of course, how long each round is going to be. And, of course, for BET Freestyle Friday, it's never long.
Nah.
It's like a minute.
Yeah.
If anything.
Yeah, I'm about to say, ours was, it might have been almost shorter than that.
And you can't really get anything off that you want to get
I know
off.
exactly what you mean.
And I watched the battle. I felt like the only thing, because your opponent was Young Stitch, the only thing, and I'm not saying this because you're here, but the only thing I felt like was he just had that one rebuttal, and then he was just loud after that.
The white flip that
he said.
Eminem.
It's a fake Eminem.
Yeah.
He sounded like Eminem, and then he had the one rebuttal, and then I'm like, it's just filler after that.
Thing is,
Good
though,
rapper,
but it helped in a lot of ways. Though it was a good flip, and what's funny is that I thought about not saying that. That came off the top. I freestyled at that point,
right?
And you really got to give respect because it helped. It definitely helped. It was the main flip that I think tilted to where the judges was like, nah, that was a good flip.
Yeah, because you rapped in front of it was Zaytoven.
Yeah, it was like Zaytoven, Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah,
there was somebody else in there. Safari.
Yeah, Safari was a host.
Yeah.
Negra. And one other person, I can't.
Yeah, I forgot. It was one more person. It was a guy.
But very important people, people that you were rapping in front of. Yeah. And I was just sitting there. I was just like, he had a one. Okay, cool. That's cool. But was he? I just felt like he was just kind of loud. Versus, I actually try to listen because you can have a quiet delivery, and you'd be like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Versus, you hear a bunch of dudes that are just loud, and it's like, okay, you're not really saying nothing.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, it's one of those experiences. I feel like you learn. You can definitely.
Oh, for sure, it was a big lesson in it, and it was a great experience. Like them dudes was so cool, professional as hell. It just was like the learning is just like put yourself out there and literally see what happened. That was my first time ever doing something like that. So just that experience alone, like it literally added to like my self-confidence. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I'm super thankful for that moment right there, for sure.
What was the biggest lesson that you took from that experience?
Besides put yourself out there, this thing comes with ups and downs. Like, making it to win the LA freestyle and then go and try to do the global one. Just like move with confidence, continue to, no matter what, don't let things affect your confidence. You know what I'm saying? I knew who I was before as an artist, but definitely knew who I was after that for sure. So just like another part of the journey.
Most definitely.
Essentially.
Great experience for you. Now, I was happy.
Oh man, it was super dope. Cool. Bruh, when I tell you, like,
it looked like
it was so funny because it was like, it's crazy. Like, you really realize how notoriety creates how a buzz around you. I really felt what that felt like for probably like just months after that. Like, for real. Like, people, I forgot where I went and somebody recognized me. It was kind of cool, but it just was just like, oh, okay, this is really what this feels like for real. Like people kind of recognizing you from TV and recognizing you for rapping and stuff like that. So it just added to like the rapper me, like keep going. Next time, you know what I'm saying? So at that time, after that, now I'm trying to put a tape together. I'm trying to go host stuff.
Right.
I'm trying to figure out like, all right, what I should do next, you know. But I ain't have enough knowledge back then. Today, I would have definitely done so many more things probably with that opportunity for sure.
Most definitely. I'm sure you learned from it.
For sure.
After that, after the BET experience, you had 3 projects that came out after. You had your Almighty album, the Surviving the Times EP, and then the Unsung Act. The Almighty album, there's a couple tracks that stuck out to me. We talked about your football history earlier. Scholarship stuck out to me. Because I was a college basketball player at one point, and one of the main things you're worried about is taking care of your body.
Right.
And it's a very vivid track because, you know, it's one of those storytelling things. You know, you said at the end, you know, the football player went to the game, he saw his mama in the stands, dad wasn't there, and then you know, he goes out on the field, and then he gets injured. It's over.
It's over.
Was that you?
No, but the not making it in the NFL is what it symbolizes.
Okay.
It symbolizes me trying to make it and going to college to try to make it and eventually coming to terms with that you will not reach your journey, your destination. So I wrote that story with the death of my football career in mind, which is why the athlete got hurt in that story.
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, there's a lot of ups and downs in being an athlete in general, and people don't really understand that.
Right.
You know, when it comes to psychology and how being in a sport can mentally, it can mess with you sometimes.
For sure, bro.
And it can mess with your sense of self-worth when there's so much more out there for you. And that's kind of, you know, like I said, with that track, it kind of reminded me of like, yeah, I'm dedicated to this. I'm going to excel in it. But then there's also other lessons that you learn from the sport that can help you out further in life. When it comes to football, you know, I mean, I can tell definitely you learn from everything, every experience that you've been through. What was something that you definitely, was it like discipline or a certain type of attribute that you learned from football? And did that go into the track also?
Yeah, discipline is definitely the main thing, but leadership probably more than anything. Football, just the camaraderie of it, it's like you standing for something, like when the colors of your school, you know how that goes. It's just like, it's just another social element that is being added to your life at that age that's helping to shape who you are as a person and helping you understand the world around you. So the fact that I was able to do that and do it good, I was able to see what it felt like being in a leadership role and taking on and enjoying that responsibility and also enjoying delivering on those responsibilities. So that's literally the same element that I enjoy in hip hop. I enjoy bonding with people over the music, you know what I'm saying, that I create. So it literally just transfers over in theory for the most part.
Most definitely. The other track that stuck out to me was Unborn. Unborn was basically like your idea or your foresight. Well, I don't want to say foresight. Imagining if you were a father.
For sure.
To a daughter and a son and what that means for you or how you know, your perspective on it. Very instrumental and soulful track. And I like the end of it because nowadays rappers don't let the beat just ride it out at the end. They don't let them do that anymore, just to marinate on the song.
Yeah.
I love that. And, you know, especially when it comes to, especially a song with that message in it, you know, was that something that you go through at that time? You were thinking about, when am I going to have kids or something like that? Or just overall, the mindset of how you want to be to your kids in the future, if you have children?
A part of both. Then, man, that's 2019, 2018. You just don't have it figured out at that time, and you in this hip hop game. You just trying to maneuver through and trying to find success with your art. So essentially, songs like that is really about you aging and just realizing that there are things that you want to do in life, but you're not ready to do them yet because you got these obligations that you want to conquer before bringing children into the world. So it just was really me probably stressed the hell out for real. That really of why the song like kind of even came up, because a lot of the things is just like, and also working on myself, like mentally, my mental health, my maturity level, like there are ups and downs emotionally, trying to be emotionally mature. Like you just like, are you ready for this? You know, so that's where like the song lives at. That's where it was born at.
One more track that stuck out to me before we move on to the next one. You had Run It on there. You had a feature from a mutual friend of ours, KS.
My guy, Kid, KS the Wolf.
Who had a better verse?
Hey man, I don't.
We gotta get him in here.
Get my brother in here, man.
I gotta get him in here, man. Cause
he ain't a better rapper than me. Make sure you put that in there.
Oh,
yeah, just so you know.
Recorded.
I don't care if we. Wait, what? Wait a minute. Nah. That boy ain't better than me. You make sure you show him that clip.
You tell him I said that.
You tell him I said it. But you tell him I'm quoting you, though. That boy got some tracks, man.
Cause my favorite one from him is In Search of Yourself. That was hard to me. He has other stuff prior to that, but
I'm like, yeah, his first project. Oof. What is it called? The Birth EP. If you haven't heard that,
I think I might have heard a couple songs. He
got some hitters on there, man.
I'm gonna have to go back.
I mean, he stays with some good. Musa knows how to pick tracks.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I
can't wait for you to hear what he's doing.
Kid had the better verse. My guy, Kid had the better verse.
Yo, it's one of the ones, man.
My God, shout out to Kid.
Y'all definitely did good music, and I know we did an interview before, and we did talk about y'all process in the studio. Sometimes when y'all come together for music, it's great. I love it.
Yeah, that's my guy, man. As he laughed behind the camera. This guy.
I'm gonna get you in here sometime, player. The Almighty album came out 2019. The next one was Surviving the Times. Now, no, I'm sorry. Wrong one.
I was about to correct
Unsung
you.
Act.
Yeah, Unsung Act.
The beats on there, I love all of them. The ones that stuck out to me were All Hail, Luxury Boom Bap, and Rhythm. And beat selection is definitely important for production in general. What was your favorite track on with that one? Which song did you have the most fun?
Favorite track was Luxury Boom Bap.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another one of those just like that I knew when I wrote it, and also the like people that I talked to also. Some of those records you just know.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this is one of those as soon as you get down with it. So
I could tell. Yeah, I could tell. Because it's one of those ones that you definitely put something behind it. What was the inspiration for Luxury Boom Bap?
The music, actually. I arrived at it from listening to the music, so the song wasn't conceived. I had nothing in mind, actually. And I just was, listening to beats and ran across that, and I'm like, this sound like luxury, you know what I'm saying? Name, Luxury Boom Bap.
Yeah,
Live from the dungeon, the Luxury Boom Bap. I got my groove back. Stella beside me, she called me Poppy. You know what I'm saying? Literally, that's literally, the beat lived. I said it sound like luxury. Did luxury, came up with the name, stamped it with the first bar in the song, and hey, you got a nice record.
Yeah, and I noticed there's a theme with that. You have two other songs that have luxury in the title.
Yeah, it is a thing.
Soul and Luxury Soul, Luxury Boom Bap. There's one more.
Gloom.
It is Gloom?
Luxury Gloom.
It is Luxury Gloom. Sure is.
Yeah.
What's behind that?
It's interesting. So it's really like a gumbo of thoughts of, I'm also into fashion, and I'm into luxury sounding music, like production and stuff like that. Like Justice League, Just Blaze. To me, that's what I name like luxury, like some Kanye or whatever. So it's just really being fly and being black, and really associating a term that it's like my way of being able to have my own language, and even if the word don't even 100% apply to it, it's like my own inside joke, like my own inside, like, you know what I'm saying? So usually when it falls on any song, it's just like hot sauce. It just, you put it on anything, you know what I'm saying? Luxury this. So however I'm feeling, luxury is gonna follow it. You know what I'm saying? So I put luxury on side the feeling. So for example, like luxury gloom, I was feeling, you know, a little more moody, and the production kind of felt like what the other songs in the series kind of give. So I never really plan them. I'll be listening to the music, and it'll just feel like that. It needs to be added to the collection type of vibes.
For sure, most definitely. One other song on there was Distant Relatives. You had 3 features on there: Jimmy Wiz, Poetry, and Master Difference. Who are they? How did y'all come together?
So Mass is who I met first. Mass is a friend of mine. He's a rapper from South Africa. So my first introduction to South African artists up to that type of level was through Mass, and me and him met on Twitter. Just, I don't know how we came into each other's timeline, but met on Twitter, then jumped in a DM, and we was just communicating, sending each other music, kind of getting into, like, you know what I'm saying, what we like about each other, like the production and stuff like that. And I remember literally we met one day, and he was like, 4 days later, he was like, yo, I got this open spot and I got to turn the album in like a week. You think you can get something done? Literally, he sent it. This during the pandemic, by the way. So he sent it. I literally wrote it and booked a studio and knocked it out super quick. And he put me on this project, and that literally birthed him introducing me to people that he knew. So Jimmy Wiz is somebody that he may have introduced me to, or I might have just seen him or seen them kind of like, you know what I'm saying, talking to each other, whatever, and I might have clicked on his music. Or maybe like Mass might have shared my music. It was something like that. And me and Jimmy actually kind of got close as well for a little bit. And as far as Flowetry, I think she might have just came across, she might have been shared by somebody that I followed from out there. And I just wanted to have a woman MC on it as well, to bring that that whole cycle of unity between man and woman in a musical way.
Yeah, and just for the viewers watching, we're not talking about Flowetry with Marsha Ambrosius.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah. Hip hop artists.
Different artists. You mentioned Mass, because that was going to be my next question. And actually, we talked about this last year when we first met. That was one of the things I asked you.
Yeah.
Where did the South
I get asked that.
connection?
I get asked that often, like, who is Mass or whatever, or who is who is. But Mass is the main one. People are like, who is that?
Yeah.
How you get to connect? But yeah, Twitter.
Hey.
Twitter in those times.
Social media is great when it comes to networking.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, as long as you use it right, as long as it's not crazy. Other songs, Hit the Lights and Pray. You mentioned Kobe Bryant a couple times in, when it, as far as a couple bars in there, and the loss of Kobe Bryant and how that can be put into the music, and loss in general when it comes to losing people. But we'll get into that a little bit later. You also, didn't you have some singles that came out after Unsung Act, in between, I think it was between Unsung and Surviving the Times? Wasn't there like a couple?
Yeah, maybe a couple. During that time, I was super low.
Yeah.
Musically.
Right.
I just life. So I took like probably a year or two apart from I think Luxury Gloom fell into that gap, and like maybe another song, and I might went on another like thing to where I didn't release to maybe like a year or two after that.
Exactly. Most definitely.
There's a gap in there.
The next one came to Surviving the Times EP. Now you did that for a specific reason.
Yeah.
That was for Hurricane Laura.
Yeah.
Now, what motivated you to do a project for, specifically for hurricanes? Because I've seen, I've heard songs like that before. Like, I remember there's one album where Trey the Truth did a song for Hurricane Harvey. Mm-hmm. And of course he's like, he's big in the community in general, as far as Houston, Texas. Was that, what exactly was the inspiration, well, besides the hurricane, what made you want to do that?
I was actually already working on a project, and it kind of took a turn into that. So it was more so the hurricane situation that happened during while I was making it, and the Survive the Times part was kind of already in line with the things that I was talking about, because it was during the pandemic as well, not far removed from the pandemic. So I literally just merged the idea with the cover and just brought it to light as far as like what was attached to the project, not only hip hop music, but trying to bring awareness to what was going on with people down there in Louisiana, family and everything.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Because my favorite track off there was the very first one, Surviving the Times. I like a very slow, hard-hitting drum when it comes to like beats like that. I thought that was a really interesting touch in terms of like the projects you put out, especially for that cause.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a collab EP with an artist named Kill.
Yeah, there's a producer named Kill from Philly. Met him on Twitter as well. Just following people and just communicating with them. They posting their beats, and through communication, came together and said, "Yo, let's create something." Said how many songs it would be, something short, just to put something out together, and yep, that's how that was it. Shout out to Kill, man.
That's what's up. Go to the Ari Lennox and Tiana Taylor effect. What's it about?
So that song is about colorism and just the black woman stereotype of just like, well, some black women, the stereotype of the like conversations around dark women or women that's a little more muscular. And that happened on Twitter as well. It actually was inspired from a dialogue that was going on Twitter about like I think it was like some viral post about them in very derogatory ways or whatever pertaining to their color and their body types.
Right, yeah, because wasn't Ari Lennox like in some beef with somebody not too long ago talking about color? They were talking about like the Martin show, and like there was like some stuff going on with like Tashina Arnold or something like that. And the difference between her and Tisha Campbell Martin and everything like that. Ari Lennox jumped into something like that, but that was after you did your track,
well,
right?
it just shows you, it was. So it's kind of ironic, but it was just a lot of men just saying a lot of crazy stuff, and I just flipped it. I just flipped it and literally just kind of just built a world around that idea. I mean, that's what, because Tiana Taylor somehow was catching strays as well during those times. So that's literally what brought it up, which is why I even chose the POV of just what I'm speaking about in those verses.
Yeah, because I remember I saw the title. I'm like, why Ari Lennox and Tiana Taylor at that time? But then, of course, it makes sense. Of course, what was going on as far as like you mentioned with the theme of colorism. Along with that one, and then you have Silent Tears that dealt with suicide.
Yeah.
Then you also have All Eyes on We, which mainly that's a police brutality anthem. It almost kind of reminded me of Wayne's The Carter 3 Don't Get It, where he just talks for like 6 minutes straight at the end of the song.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was like, that's what that
reminded
me of. But the main thing that was common for all those, for each one of them was, all of them it has something to do with confidence and pride, I've noticed. Even in a song like Silent Tears, you're mentioning loss, losing a friend, taking, I guess like taking the reins in terms of trying to be a big brother, being there for people. It seems like you have a big brother complex. Is that a fair assessment?
It's possible. I definitely, you just never know what people are going through.
Yeah.
Coming up, I kind of was that kind of kid of just act like you got some sense, man. Treat people with respect. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
And also just thinking about it, you just want everybody around you to be good.
Yeah.
I think I was used to that, just like the comedy element to like my personality. I think I would just want everybody to be good. So that's kind of like an aspect to who I am a little bit.
By the way, I also listened to No OGs when I was on the way here. I was like, yeah, it's a banger.
Appreciate that.
Is it something that, are you going to do a video for that? I felt like you could do a video for that.
Well, I did a small reel for it, but it really was just to get some music out. That's actually, I always liked the beat. I had the beat saved, and I didn't know what I wanted to put on it or whatever. So that's really how that song came about. I just wanted to release some music.
Live performances. I haven't seen you perform live yet, but you have performed live in the past. And you performed in Dallas, in Houston, and in New Orleans, and I'm sure since you've been out to California, you've done live performances. Yeah. When you get ready for them, like, what gets you motivated for live to get on stage?
Just the raw element of the human interaction of it. Like what's interesting about like performing is like the way that you do it, the moving, like you can control a crowd with doing so many subtle things, especially one that's locked in with you. And when I first experienced that, of people just kind of nodding their head or whatever, it's just like, there's no feeling like that or whatever. So it's just like ball, bro. It's literally just like it. Like, people like Kyrie because of the handles, people like Brian for certain things. It's literally how it is with music. The only difference is just like a rapper is doing it through like being cool and being good at wordplay. You know what I'm saying? But that's literally it. To be honest, it's that simple. Just being in harmony through rhythm while talking my shit.
That's what's up.
You know.
What's one location or venue that you dream of performing in?
Probably Madison Square Garden.
Oh
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah.
New York.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially for lyricists.
Or Madison Square Garden probably first, and probably like Crypto or something like
That's
that.
what I'm about to say. You remember out here in Cali?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's definitely legendary places out here for two.
Yeah.
For sure. And then of course when you were doing the, of course the BET Freestyle Friday joint, that was by Staples Center, wasn't it? But that's not like, but that's different. That's a different.
Yeah, it was way different. They put it like, it was like a section of it.
Do you have a dream collaboration or artist that you want to work with in the future?
Probably, many. Jay, Kendrick.
I keep bringing up Daylyt.
Daylyt. Is that, you know what's funny? Actually, what's funny is that me and Daylyt actually communicated backstage during those times.
Okay.
Yeah, super cool guy.
Yeah. You watch his interviews, a lot of the stuff he says, sometimes he tends to be wild, but then it's like, nah, there was something.
Nah, he's definitely, he knows what he's doing, but yeah, he's pretty cool.
Great to see him doing on the battle rap thing. But he hasn't done a rap battle in a while.
Yeah,
the last person he battled was King Los, I think.
Yeah, he's been chilling.
So he's been chilling, but he's still doing his thing with with the project, the room full of mirrors and everything like that. And the reason why I keep kind of picking on you about that, because I remember I saw an Instagram post. You weren't in a picture with him, but it was in the same post. It was like one picture was with you and another artist, and then I scrolled over like a few more photos. I'm like, wait, hold on, they in the same?
Yeah, we was all in the same studio. We got invited to a TDE session to listen to some music.
That's right, because he wrote.
And he was there that night. So we was all in the same space. I just was in a different place. But
okay.
he was there. He was in the room.
Okay, so definitely it was a good experience for you.
Oh man, super dope. Being in that room, it showed you like the levels and like budget when it come to like music for real. Like hearing that music is just like you really able to hear like every sound in the music. Like the mixes is crazy. Also the production level as well. It's just better producers. You just know you just sitting around people that just are just better
Sure.
at their jobs. Like some of them beats is just like, this would be over here at this place. Try to get on YouTube and find something equivalent. It's gonna be tough.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy for you, man. When I saw it, I was like, that's what's up.
Yeah.
As a rapper, what do you feel you have responsibility in doing when you do your music?
Having a message and always having something teachable but fly. Like, but the main thing is saying something. Always having something that's gonna have people thinking about something. If my music isn't there, then I'm not hitting my mark, to be honest.
For real.
Yeah, I love saying thought-provoking things outside of music. So on music, it's only gonna make sense that I keep it thought-provoking.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
And it makes sense because I remember last year you had that one highlight that they mentioned as far as like in hip hop news. Like there was a point in time, was it October or September of last year, where they were talking about there were no hip hop songs on the Hot 100 and the Top 40. And it was talking about ending a 35-year streak in that. And it's like, does it have something to do with the artists and what they're doing with their music and everything? So that's why I said, or I asked as far as, for you and then all other hip hop artists out there, what do you put in the music to kind of, make a mark? You know what I'm saying? But like, why do you think, if you had to guess, what do you think happened that made that kind of like a point of interest as far as hip hop not being recognized at that level for that short period of time? Do you think it has something to do with the quality, like what you just said, as far as a message in the music, or people not putting their all into it? You know, do you have an idea why that could be?
I think the conversation probably for years in the devaluing of music is what is probably shaping these things to be honest. Like I feel like in society people don't care for music as much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The rate in which it's being released is kind of, I think, probably adding to that as well, but just also anybody and everybody has a mic. So everybody's creating music. People are blending and getting signed for many different reasons outside of the music. So what that does is it just starts to conflate. What are you looking at? You know what I'm saying? Is we looking at artists, or is we looking at people that is performing as such, as opposed to actual artists, you know? And so I just think that it's just like a blend of all of those things, like the way that we behave around music, the way that we discuss music. We don't even have tangible CDs and things the way that we used to, you know what I'm saying? I think that we're very zoomed out, and as a result, you know, we don't value it as much.
Last question. Mansa Musa was the richest black king in the world, as we talked about in the beginning of the interview. And of course, with you having that in your moniker, you know, bringing knowledge to the name, and then you make sure that's a part of your music. And you know, like you said, you're talking about a man whose name, or a man who is really rich. In what ways do you feel in your spirit when it comes to making music? Do you feel rich? Do you feel rich in certain ways?
For sure. I feel rich in being who I am, you know, my personality. Like being yourself and being, for lack of a better term, like rewarded for it is literally what freedom is. And that's what like being who I am, being a musician, like that feeling right there is like addictive as hell, because you ain't being nobody but yourself. And it's not like as simple as just like wanting the validation, but it's just a add-on to your confidence, you know. So it's really that, bro, like being yourself and that being enough, and taking everything that comes with that positively, to be honest. That's how I live life, to be honest.
For real.
Like dead ass. Like if you be you and you get rewarded for it, it's just like, what we doing? This is freedom.
For sure.
Yeah. So as an artist, that's what that provides for me. You know exactly how I feel. I'm gonna put exactly. Actually, the deeper I go into the music, the more you gonna know how I feel. So I know that the people that show up for the music actually rock with the music, because I'm saying things like I'm not in the middle on certain things. Like, you know who I am. Or you can, you know what I'm saying, if you're listening for real.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Any shout outs? What can we expect coming up next from Jaylon Musa? What's coming up next?
Man, album this summer.
Yes, because I remember you talked about that before. Releasing the singles.
Album this summer. We looking at July.
Okay.
That's what we trying to land, July.
Okay.
And hey man, we about to start this rollout soon. Already leaving here to go to a session to finish it up. So, hey man, July we back. It's been a while, but we back.
We're waiting, man. Like I said, I'm enjoying it, man. And like I said, I remember hearing about you through our homie KS the Wolf when he was getting ready to release his Red Hen album. I was still in Japan when he was preparing for that, and I know for me, because we were talking before the interview, like with my history in journalism and everything like that, you know, doing interviews as a radio DJ and as a news broadcaster, and then working with even artists in Japan, stepping away from the mainstream a little bit, and then just seeing who else is out there. Because I always feel like, you know, we all, not everybody, but a good amount of us know somebody that is doing some sort of content, especially when it comes to music.
Right.
And a good amount of y'all are dope. You yourself included.
Appreciate that.
You're doing a great job. And I'm like, yo, like, let's go ahead and step away from the mainstream a little bit and see what else is out there. And I'm definitely looking forward to the album, man. Do you have a title?
Yes, album name is If You Called, I Didn't Get It. I don't know what would you make of that?
I didn't get it. Let me think.
I love this right here.
You know, I
love this right here.
Fire back if you have to.
Nah, you good.
If you called, I didn't get it. It means, all right, I don't think you're trying to be brand new or bougie on people. I didn't get it. Does it depend on who called?
You on to something.
Someone called, and does it have to do with changing yourself?
I'm always changing myself, so I'm not gonna give you that.
Okay,
It's too broad.
Okay. Does it have to do with cutting people off or cutting certain people off?
You're in the right direction.
That's okay.
You're in the right direction.
If you called, I didn't get it.
I can give you that one.
I mean, that's important. You know, I'm. You know, you don't want to give too many people access to yourself, especially if you're on a certain path. That was the initial feeling I got from that title.
Yeah.
That's what I got. But I might be right or I might be wrong. But I'll find out.
You're not far off.
Okay. All right then. I'm gonna stick with that. I'm gonna stick with that. That's gonna be my final answer, and I'm gonna wait till the album comes out, and I'm looking forward to it.
For sure.
Jaylon Musa, thank you so much for coming in. Again, I appreciate it, and I'm enjoying all the work. And like I said,
Thanks for having me, bro.
That's
been long overdue. I also been following you as well. You always support. So actually, the shout out, I'm gonna give it to you. To be honest,
appreciate it.
Ever since we met, bro, you be sharing the music. Me and you always communicating in the DM. So I appreciate you.
It's in my habits, man. You know, that's what I learned.
Oh yeah, and also the supporters, of course.
Yeah.
Always the supporters. The thing is, I speak to so many of my supporters. It's just like, you know what I'm saying. But yes, definitely shout out to the supporters, and we back in July.
For sure.
But yeah, shout out to you.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. We all appreciate it. You definitely do your thing. And the next time, well, let's do this again next time, man. And
Oh yeah,
we'll go ahead and get in.
just hit me in.
Jaylon Musa, appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Ice, cool.
Brother.